Hello folks, and welcome to this, the May 22nd, 2016 edition of Decision 2016 Digest. I'm your host, Scott Jones. This is the channel where we bring you the top policy and political and election headlines in 15 minutes or less. We're coming at you today with an upgraded camera, and we can now give you an even bigger headache with stereo sound. It's all new, so let's get to it. Out of a population of over 330 million people in our country, it seems the best we can do for 2016 presidential choices are a boorish, New York-based real estate developer / reality show star and an underachieving establishment politician with the potential also to be under indictment. You know, you could find yourself torn between the urge to laugh or cry, but this is a serious, what we call, wave election. Here in 2016, I'm reminded of the quote from Japanese Admiral Yamamoto during World War II, who said, while those around him celebrated the bombing of Pearl Harbor, quote, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." He was referencing the United States in that quote. It almost applies to this election. With over a decade of the status quo, political elites growing government at a staggering rate, and the decline of our country's reputation on the world stage, it is clear that voters have had enough. The quote-unquote sleeping giant of masses of voters have engaged as never before and have awakened, and they're pissed. But given the choices, the question today is, are we screwed? On the GOP side, with a decisive win in Indiana a few weeks ago, Trump vanquished his final competitors and became the GOP's presumptive nominee. Since that time, I have watched as GOP establishment and hardcore activist types have figuratively jumped out of buildings on social media in protest over Trump's rise. GOP pundits pervade the internet and airwaves, screeching like harlots at a tent revival that Trump will be the end of the GOP quote-unquote brand. Well, guess what, you political ruling class talking heads? The broader voting public could give a rip about your GOP brand. They are fed up. This so-called GOP brand, wherein loyal conservative voters delivered you wins of the House and then the Senate, only to watch you give Obama everything he wanted, hasn't worked. You were sent to Washington, so they say, to stop Obama's role, only to become too cozy and create a surrender caucus to Obama's policies. And you seem confused as to why people want change? To me, that's just stunning. Add on to that your arrogance and disdain of we, the pesky voters, and our interference, where the GOP elites now threaten third-party runs, doomed to failure, mind you, or to just stay home in the general, all but assuring a Hillary Clinton win in November. Boy, that'll show them. These GOP brand protectors, as I call them, as I traverse social media, will tell you that if you defend or support Trump, you have no principles. These are the same people who ran on and supported candidates with these quote-unquote principles. They got elected and immediately violated these principles once they got to Washington. I watched this Never Trump crowd amazed in their distorted logic, and I'm reminded of the admonition in the movie Ghostbusters about crossing the streams. People turning on each other, up is down, down is up, black is white, dogs and cats living together. Oh, our precious GOP brand, woe is me. It is clear people want change, want our country respected again, someone to speak out and take action on the cozy ruling class in Washington, and Trump has emerged as their wrecking ball. In Trump's case, an answer to the question, are we screwed? It remains to be seen. One train of thought among some in the GOP, he couldn't screw it up any worse than Obama. In any event, his campaign will be anything but boring. Let's move on to the Democrats. While the mainstream media continues to harp on the quote-unquote divide within the GOP, Democrats aren't faring any better. Self-avowed Democratic Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders continues to dog Hillary Clinton's path to the Democratic nomination. Mrs. Clinton's confidence in securing her party's nomination is buoyed only by the existence of Democratic quote-unquote superdelegates who can hand her the nomination no matter what happens. Because Sanders continues to win state after state as the primary season nears its close, a clear embarrassment to Mrs. Clinton. When all is done, Bernie may well have won primaries in half the states in the United States against Clinton. While doubtful he can actually win the nomination because of the superdelegates, it's the Democratic convention that is shaping up to be contentious, largely due to Sanders' popularity. He's been a momentum killer for Mrs. Clinton. Also, the prospect of a bad report, or less likely, an indictment recommendation from the FBI investigation related to her mishandling of national security issues on her homebrew server continues to loom. Unfortunately for Mrs. Clinton, though, she suffers from much the same sentiment that has given rise to Donald Trump. Americans of both parties want change. Mrs. Clinton is a poster child for the establishment after more than 25 years, maybe nearly 30 years in Washington, D.C. Take away the superdelegates, Clinton would be in danger again of losing her party's nomination in favor of the Sanders revolution. Clinton has been unable at this moment to vanquish him from the race. The Democratic establishment are scared spitless over what this could mean for the general election against the unpredictable Donald Trump. My conclusions are these. The stakes in this election have never been higher, especially with a number of Supreme Court vacancies potentially to be filled that can affect our free speech rights, our gun rights, and religious liberties for generations to come. I also conclude this will be one of the nastiest, ugly elections in modern history. Clinton and her character assassins play to win, and Trump will say what others won't. He's brash and unpredictable. It will be explosive. You can count on it, if not entertaining. With all that's at stake, those who are threatening to stay home and pout, abdicating your responsibility to actually make a choice, that's going to be on you. And you'll have zero right to complain about the outcome. It's really sad in my book. Irrespective of all the competing factions, I hope you will stay informed and in your wisdom make the best choice for our country going forward. Well, that's our report for this edition of Decision 2016 Digest. If you appreciate what we're doing here, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know you appreciate the effort. As a hookup, just for our viewers, if you like listening to books instead of reading them, hit the special link in the description below and you can get 1 month free and your first book download free from audible.com just for trying it out. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Folks, please stay informed, get involved, and take action in this important election year. Your country needs you. We'll see you next time right here on Decision 2016 Digest.